Babysitter. Are you here to sit on babies?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ian Goes to 100. Tonight's game is the Babysitter. Yep. It's about a babysitter. I don't know if we are the babysitter. What are the preferences? I don't know if... Okay, that's pretty right. New game. Oh, yeah, I don't know if we're the kid. I don't know what. Babysitter needed. Urgent! Childminder required. Childminder? Tomorrow evening for our 12-year-old daughter. Can't 12-year-olds watch themselves? Reference checks will be conducted. Guardian Angel Elite Child Minding Services. Alright, I'll apply for this job. Give me this job. Well, mind your child. One day later. This suburb, Whitefield Groves, is one of the more exclusive neighborhoods in the city. But it's on the outskirts of town, pretty much in the middle of nowhere. That house is baller as fuck. Are you kidding me? Look at that thing. Huge windows, pool. Dude, that house is sweet. This house, like all the other houses in this neighborhood, is set far apart from its neighbors. Perfect. I don't like being near my neighbors either. My neighbors are all very far from me. This sure is a nice place with a well-maintained lawn and a pool, although at this hour it does seem a little foreboding. Okay, so I think we're the babysitter. It's just about 7 p.m. and it's already full dark. The house seems quiet. Miss Raj, the woman who called you back after you sent in your application, asked you to be here by 7:30 p.m. They've been particular that you be on time. Miss Raj told you that she and her husband, Dr. Raj, were going out for the evening and she didn't want their daughter home alone. The fact that the girl is 12 and requires a sitter indicates there may be some issues here. I knew 12-year-olds should be able to watch themselves. Or it could just be that the child doesn't like being alone at home after dark. That's quite normal. So they want to hang out with a fucking stranger? Yeah, I don't think so. Miss Raj sounded like a very exacting kind of parent, the type who is very mindful of every aspect of her child's care. Is that music really fucking loud? There we go. Return. I was just like, I could barely hear myself talk over that music. Hopefully that's better. Blah, 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 blah. Type was very mindful. Okay. She asked you a lot of questions about your background and your qualifications. She seemed pretty finicky. Can't blame her, really. These days, most parents, particularly the rich ones, pay a lot of attention to their child's upbringing. I mean, shouldn't all parents? It is the nature of our times, and it pays to be vigilant. Vigilant! Since you've been registered with the Guardian Angel Child Care Agency, fuck off! It's my reminder to eat lunch. Since you've been registered with the Guardian Angel Child Care Agency for the last 3 years, you've got good references. So you were pretty confident that you'd get the gig. It pays well, too. I kind of fucking hate kids, so I don't know if it would ever pay well enough for me to want to hang out with a kid that I don't know, that I can't smack. But also, like, to just, like, go to somebody's house at night? That's sketchy as fuck. I don't know if you could pay me enough, even as, like, a dude my size. Like, mostly this is like a young, small lady job. Well, you're here. You're about half an hour early, which you hope is not too early for them. You better ring the doorbell. Let them know you're here. Ding! Ding dong!
Ah, yes, of course. You must be the babysitter. I'm Dr. Raj. My wife told me you would be here. You're early. That's great. Do come in. Nobody that says do come in is good. If somebody says do come in, they're gonna fucking kill you. He steps aside and you walk into the house. You let him walk in behind you? The lounge area overlooks the lawn and the pool through the tinted black windows on your left. The floor underfoot is real wood. The thing looks like it costs a fortune. I'm so glad we found you on such short notice. Shreya, that's my wife, was quite worried we wouldn't be able to get a sitter on time. You see, I got an... Jesus, dude, you're just gonna give me your whole life story? Fuck, just show me where the bathroom is, point your kid out, and fuck off. You see, I've got an invitation to speak at a late evening segment of a medical convention just 2 days ago. So the whole situation came about rather abruptly. What? Why do I care? Shreya is very particular about in whose care we leave Maya, our daughter. We had a bad experience with our last sitter. Are they alive? She is very cautious when it comes to Maya. You sense a mild apology in his tone. I'm just gonna be like, I'll be polite. It's all right. It's important to be diligent when it comes to such matters. That's very true. I can see why you gained her confidence. I'll go in and tell her you're here. She's just getting ready. I'll then grab my coat and head out to the car, so I'll see you next time we're back. It was a pleasure meeting you. Do make yourself comfortable. Shreya will be out in a second. Stop saying do make myself things. Dr. Raj leaves you and you wait for Miss Raj, who he referred to as Shreya. He seems pleasant, if a little absent, a rather stark difference to Miss Raj, who sounded formal and humorless on the call. $10, it's just fucking him. It must be pleasant here during the day. The glass doors on your left, letting in natural light, but now at night the windows look out into darkness and the trees bordering the lawn throw deep shadows. It's understandable now why they would not want their child to spend a late evening alone. The house is large and isolated from its neighbors. The neighborhood itself is rather lonesome. Children, with their active imaginations, can easily get distressed after dark. In such an environment, every creak and every night sound taking on sinister undertones. These kids are dumb. Ah! Miss Raj. Hello there. We had spoken on the phone. Thank you for being early. I appreciate that. As and my husband might have told you, we're attending a medical convention and he's one of the keynote speakers for the evening. The organizers just called us a few minutes ago and told us that the traffic around the convention center is a nightmare, and that we should start out early if we wanted to get there on time. So now we have to leave half an hour earlier. The organizer seems so, well, disorganized. Her tone is clipped. She's clearly a woman who does not like it when plans go awry, or when situations get unpredictable. I'm really glad we were able to find a sitter on such short notice. I know Maya seems quite old to be needing a sitter, but I try to avoid leaving our daughter home alone if possible.
Just gonna stay polite. I'm not gonna call your house scary. I'm just gonna be like, yeah. I suppose so. Maya's actually quite independent. It's just that she's going through a difficult time right now. How so? I am curious. Well, we recently moved here from another state about 6 months ago. Didn't you say you had to fucking leave? And got an offer to be a director at the NHU hospital. We wanted to stay together as a family, so we packed up and shifted our lives. I mean, yeah. It was a rather abrupt change for Maya, leaving her old friends, her old life, the home she grew up in. She's taken it a little hard. She hasn't made any friends at her new school. She spends a lot of time alone. I'm not going to be your kid's friend, just so you know. Kenan feels guilty about it because we moved for his work. But the directorship at the NHU hospital is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It was only right for him to accept it. I do not need to know all this shit just to make sure your kid doesn't burn the house down. Fuck. Maya's behavior doesn't make it easier on him, though. Couple that with her overactive imagination and it can get a little stressful. Lady. Fuck. What kind of behavior are we talking about? Well, it's nothing serious, really. People don't misunderstand me. People. Please don't misunderstand me. Maya's a wonderful child. In fact, she's very bright for her age, which may be part of the problem. You wishing your kid was dumber? She's thoughtful, she reads beyond her years, and she's surprisingly mature for her age. It's just that she still hasn't come to terms with the move. And unfortunately, she's expressing her distress in rather disconcerting ways. Yeah, could you please answer my fucking question? How? Is she like throwing knives at strangers? Is that what happened to the last babysitter? She's struggling with a lot of emotions. She's just turning 12, so she's on the cusp of her teenage years. She's in a new school, and you know how difficult school can be at that age. Hormones, boys, and all the rest of it. Anand and I are busy for much of the day, but we try to talk to her about her feelings whenever we can, but that's not been going too well. You're not answering my questions. The problem is she refuses to speak plainly about her feelings. Instead, she makes up an outlandish stories and lets her imagination run amok. And she tries to draw us all into her morbid make-believe tales. Her counselor says it's a coping mechanism, a kind of stress response adopted by bright children, possibly a way to get attention. Perhaps a way of telling us that she wants to leave and go back to her old life. What's troubling is that she's never been this way before. She's normally not an attention-seeking child. Anything I shouldn't do so she doesn't fucking kill me? Well, not really. Like I said, she's perfectly normal and not really a difficult child. She can be a little moody at times, that's all. And she might, if you probe well, try to scare you with some of her stories. About this house, for example. You know what? I'm tired of talking to you. I'm sure I can handle being told stories. I'm sure you can! It's just silly juvenile stuff. The kids tell each other when they gather around the campfire, try to scare it, and I suppose she may have overheard something about this house, and she's latched onto it and blown it out of proportion. It troubles us how morbid and disturbing her imagination can be. Children love dark stories. Why do you think fairy tales are so gruesome? I'm tired of talking to you. I'm trying to end this conversation.
You know, I've never thought of it like that. You might just be right.
Lady, get in the fucking car. Your husband is probably out there freaking out. You just told me traffic's gonna be bad.
I've always wondered how fairy tales are rather gory. Wolves eating grandmothers, woodcutters lopping off heads. That's why I don't really want to get drawn into her hysteria and encourage her. In any case, her counselor has also told us not to engage or react. So if she does try anything, please be patient. Be firm but gentle. What Maya needs now is a little sanity. So about tonight, she's already eaten dinner and her bedtime is at 9, which is just under 2 hours away.
Yeah, thanks. I can tell time. I'm like probably in my 20s, 30s.
The time should pass quickly. There's snacks in the kitchen if you should need it.
She pauses and appears to be searching for words.
I know that I may come across as a bit severe when we spoke earlier on the phone. I have to be careful about who I choose to care for Maya. She's having a hard time as it is.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be polite. That's okay. I would have done the same if it were my kid.
Thank you. I'll ask Maya to come in now so you can meet her.
It's my dog. You hear voices approach, Shreya's and that of a young girl's. They're speaking in low voices, but you sense tension and conflict in their voices. The child's tone is brusque and irate, while Shreya's tone is stern.
This is Maya! Say hi, Maya!
Maya.
Maya?
Hi.
Okay, I'm not gonna give her a gremlin voice. Her voice is so low you can barely hear it. Does that mean she's like, hi, hello, how are you doing? I'm gonna take low to mean quiet. So she's like,
Hi.
I was just telling Maya that we're only away for about 3 to 4 hours and that she must go to bed no later than 9. She'll cooperate, of course. Isn't that right, Maya?
you sense a warning in her tone. Maya.
Maya?
Yes.
That mumbled reply again. Let's see. It's great to meet you, Maya. Maya.
Right, well, we have to be off then. If there's anything, please go.
Okay, thanks. I'll call if there's any issues.
Yes, please do that.
Fuck, you just told me.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, lady. A few minutes later. Shit's already going down. Just a few minutes later, Mr. and Miss Raj have left. An awkward silence descends as Maya stares at you. There's about an hour and 30 minutes to go before her bedtime. So, yeah, I guess I'll be like, what would you like to do?
Want a snack?
No, thanks.
Okay. Can I walk around? Oh, whoa! What? That awkward silence again.
You shouldn't have come. You shouldn't have taken this job. You should leave.
Smile. Why would you say that?
Because you're not safe here. Go while you can.
Let's see. What am I in danger of exactly? I'm gonna feed into this kid's stories. Let's go down the road.
I can't tell you because you'll not believe me. Nobody believes me.
I can take care of myself. Don't worry.
Okay, if you say so. I'd like to go up to my room now.
Sure, go ahead. Do whatever you want to do. I do not care if I hang out with you at all. But she doesn't go. She lingers.
You know, I told them not to get a sitter. I'm old enough to take care of myself. It's not safe.
I mean, this is definitely the question I want to ask.
That's not what I meant. I meant it's not safe for you.
Let's see. What am I in danger from? This family has a history so far of talking to me and not answering my fucking questions.
I just want you to leave before something happens to you.
Feels like you're going in circles with her. Yes, I think she gets it from her mom. Why don't you tell me exactly what I'm in danger from?
I can't. I know what happens if I do. You'll think I'm crazy. You'll laugh or patronize me. Anyway, at least I tried. I'm heading up to my room now.
This was you trying? I guess. What are you going to do up there?
I'm going to read, maybe write in my journal. What does it matter anyway? Don't worry. I'm not going to burn the house down or anything. Just look, if you're not going to leave, then just whatever you do, don't go near the basement, okay? No matter what you hear, don't go near it. Please.
She leaves you standing alone. Ouch, that didn't go too well. Just as Mrs. Raj said, Maya's definitely a troubled child. No sooner had they left than she began to try to make the situation uncomfortable. We'll just have to ride this out. If she spends the rest of the evening upstairs, things should be fine. You can hang out here in the lounge and pass the time till the parents get back. Should be easy to do. Still, the conversation with Maya has left a bad taste in your mouth. She definitely seems like a bright young girl. It's a pity she's struggling with the pains of the changes in her life. But growth only ever comes from change, and that's something she'll learn over time. Dude, this house is so fucking sweet. I mean, yeah, that would be kind of scary to look out at just like the night. You decide to wait it out on one of the comfortable couches here. Sure is as comfortable as it looks, and you practically sink into the plush leather. I used to have a couch like that. It wasn't leather, but if you even dared for a second to lay down on this couch, you were going to go to sleep. What was that? It came from this floor somewhere. It sounded like a door opening. Did Maya come back down? Let's go investigate! Yeah! Woohoo! Sound came from near that staircase over there. You distinctly heard the creak of a door opening. This better not be Maya playing around. I'll beat you to death, Maya. There are 3 doors here. The door to your left, the door to the right of the stairs, and there appears to be a door behind the stairs. Under it. I am interested in that door. What's behind the basement stair? The door under the stairs. The stairs lead up to another floor, presumably where the bedrooms are. That sound you heard, that creak of a door opening, came from one of these doors. You're sure of it. Yeah, I don't really want to talk to Maya anymore. I'll check the doors. Let's see. Door on my left. I want a door under the stairs. The door is ajar. This must have been the sound you heard. Through the gap in the doorway, you see only darkness. Click the door to open it. Oh my God. That scared the shit out of me.
What are you doing? I told you to stay away from the basement.
You scared the hell out of me.
I told you to stay away from the basement. Why don't you listen? Why doesn't anyone listen?
I'm gonna stay calm. What's going on?
What's that supposed to mean? Are you accusing me of something? I'm not doing anything.
You came down here and opened the door, didn't you?
What? I just came downstairs now. I heard you moving around downstairs and I came to check what you were up to, and I saw you near the basement door even though I told you not to go near it no matter what you hear.
You're saying I opened it? I think you did it. Nah. Let's go down the rabbit hole. So, who opened the door?
It wasn't me, okay? If that's what you're saying. You know what? You're all the same. All of you think I'm lying. Even my counselor. I'll bet Mom told you that I'm making up stories. She tells that to everyone, even total strangers.
Yeah, your mom does seem to fucking be super willing to dump out her purse for anybody.
But I'm not making up stories. I bet she didn't tell you what the real estate lady told us about this house.
What's really going on?
If I tell you, you'll just call me a liar and you'll accuse me of stuff I didn't do. So I'm not going to tell you anything.
Well, that's not helpful.
Do whatever you like for your own sake. Stay away from the basement. No matter what you hear.
All right, I'll bite. Ooh. I want to know both of these. What'd they tell you? What'd they tell you? You ass. Great, she's gone back upstairs again. This is so not going well. I'm just gonna have to write it out somehow until the parents get home. It's definitely getting uncomfortable. No wonder Miss Raj is concerned about the girl. Children express stress in varied ways. You've seen this in children who are going through traumatic changes in their lives. Poor girl. You better close this door. Not that you're overly alarmed about what Maya said, but the sight of the open door is a bit creepy. Kerklunk. There. That's better. Back to the comfortable sofa, staring out into the darkness of the lawn. She'll sit tight till her parents get home. A few minutes later. Is there gonna be a... Really? Again? Come on, this isn't funny anymore. Why would she? Go investigate again. What the hell's that? Someone crying? Coming from over there. Near the stairs. Maya, are you okay? There's no response. Coming from the door behind the stairs. Oh, God. The chills. I got chills going down my legs so fucking hard. Still no response. It's getting really aggravating. The sound of weeping is troublesome. Door's open again. Crying's coming from the pitch darkness beyond it. Oh my God. Maya may be in there, ready to spring out and scare you. You're not up for being jump scared. You don't really want to die of a heart attack on a babysitting gig. That's not what you signed up for. You better shut that door. Look. The crying stopped. This can't go on. You better put a stop to it now, or she'll keep doing this all night. By the time her parents are back, you'll have died of fright. It's probably a good idea to talk to her, confront her. You could wait right here till she comes out of the basement. She can't stay down there forever. Or you could go upstairs and wait there. When she sneaks back up, you could catch her in the act. And then talk to her openly about what she's doing and why it's not going to help the situation. If I go upstairs, I'm probably going to run into her up there. She'll be up there reading a book or some shit. I don't know that this is the only way up from the basement, though. I have not explored the house. For all I know, she could have fucking been like, ha, gone up the other side of the basement stairs. Be already in her room by now. So I'm not going to wait for her to come out of the basement. I'm going to go up to her room. Oh, Maya, you dumbass kid. Miss Raj told you to be gentle but firm. Maybe it's time to focus on the firm a little bit. Talk directly and firmly to her. Ask her about whatever is bothering her. Maybe that's what she needs. Some direct talk. Sometimes the best way to address something with children is to get to the heart of the problem. She might open up, and that would make things easier for her. There are 3 doors on this side of the hallway. One of these is probably her room. If you expose standing in this hall, she might see you before you see her. Maybe you could wait inside her room for her to get back. That would startle her and even be a kind of gentle prank right back at her. Sometimes the best way to get a child to listen is to give them a taste of their own medicine. You should probably try the doors to find out which is her room. I'm guessing it's probably this one. Locked. Maya, this must be it. Pretty nice room. She's not here. Of course she isn't. She's downstairs crouched in the basement. Perhaps getting ready to make those awful sounds again. Still, you feel a little guilty about being here. After all, it's her bedroom and private. If she doesn't show up in a couple minutes, you'll leave. Still, it would be good to startle her a little. Illustrate what it's like to get jump scared by someone. You could just fucking smack her in the face. Pretty neat desk for a 12-year-old. Must be where she spends her time studying and reading. There's an open book on the table. Something about that book draws your attention. It's filled with urgent handwritten text. Curiosity grips you. You really shouldn't be here in this room, let alone at her desk, but something about the writing. And it's a manic scrawl. The writing is dated a couple weeks ago, and you feel compelled to take a closer look. Alright. I heard her again last night after both Mom and Dad had gone to bed. I was laying in bed nearly asleep when I heard the sound of her weeping downstairs. I knew what would come next, and sure enough, I heard the faint shuffle of her footsteps as she made her way up the basement steps and up the stairs. Then she was in the hall outside my room. I heard the squeak of my room's door handle turn. I stayed under the blankets, my eyes shut tight. Thank God I locked the door. It's become a compulsive habit and drives Mom and Dad crazy. I'm going around locking every door in the house, maybe from my anxiety. After a time, she went away. Friday the 12th, at breakfast, I told Mom that I heard the sounds again the previous night, the weeping and the footsteps. Mom glared at me, and Dad didn't even bother looking up from his plate. Mom said, I want you to stop. I want you to stop. There's Maya. It's becoming tiresome and annoying. There's no one else in this house but the 3 of us. What about what the real estate lady told us before we moved in here? I blurted. She said that it was a tragic incident, but it happened in this house many years ago. It has nothing to do with us, and you're obsessing and imagining things. Mom was almost in tears. I nearly burst out crying. It wasn't always like this. In our old life before we moved here 6 months ago, they used to listen to me and take what I said seriously. Now they no longer believe anything I say. Oh, how I hate this house. But am I going crazy? Is she real? Am I the only one able to see and hear? This game is getting under my skin. I remember when I first encountered the lady in the basement. It was just after we moved in. I was alone downstairs and I heard the basement door creak open. I went to check. I went down there and nearly died from terror. Oh man, I'm getting itchy. I ran upstairs screaming, Jesus fucking Christ. My headphone cord touched my back. Ran upstairs screaming and told Mom and Dad about what I saw. They were alarmed and searched the basement and then the whole house. But we found nothing. And he saw in the basement where the old packing boxes stored there. I remember when I saw her coming up the basement stairs out of the darkness. Oh, God, I'm getting chills so bad. I remember a blast of rage and malevolence, and I feared for my life. Another time a week later, late at night, I heard her weeping downstairs. I ran to Mom and Dad's bedroom and crawled into bed with them crying. Dad searched the house again. He searched the basement, even though I got hysterical and begged him not to, and he found nothing. This happened a couple more times. Now they look at me, not with concern, but with suspicion and even anger. Mom thinks, thanks to my counselor, that I'm having some kind of breakdown brought about by our move across the country and teenage hormones. Man, I can't read. It's true that I hate this state, I hate my new school, and most of all, I hate this house. I wish we'd never moved here. Could they all be right? Could it be true that the trauma of change is driving me insane? Making me see things? Seated by that awful story the real estate lady told us about what happened in this house all those years ago. Am I going crazy? Some nights I lie in bed wide awake, waiting for the sounds from the basement to start, frozen in terror. Okay. So I'm not the only one who hears and sees her, which means I'm not going crazy. But it also means the situation is dangerous. Yesterday, Mom and Dad had to attend a party thrown by an old friend of Dad's. I think it was one of those boring adult parties where everyone stands around sipping drinks and talking late into the night. So they hired a sitter, a sweet 22-year-old girl, Nadia, who goes to the BH college nearby. I really liked her. She was so pretty. What 12-year-old refers to a 22-year-old as a girl? A sweet 22-year-old girl. I was up here and it was around 9 when I heard her scream. I ran downstairs and I found her cowering behind the sofa, her face ashen. She was pointing towards the basement door, and I knew at once that Nadia had seen her too. I asked Nadia what happened. She said that she heard the basement door opening, and a few minutes later the sound of someone weeping. She thought it was me, and she went to investigate. She opened the basement door wide, and then...
Hey, what do you think you're doing in here? You reading my diary? That's so creepy. I'm gonna call my mom. I should have locked my door. I went to the bathroom. And just for once, I didn't lock my room, and see what happens. Please leave my room.
I'm gonna tell her. I heard the weeping in the basement.
Oh God, you shouldn't be in this house. The last sitter, it didn't go well for her. You should leave the house now.
What was the real estate agent's story?
Before he moved here, Dad wanted to find a place near the hospital where he's working. So he got in touch with this real estate firm, and she showed them a bunch of houses. Ma didn't like any of them. Finally, the agent told them that she had one more place on her file. She brought us here. Mom loved the place at once. It was spacious and had a nice lawn and a pool. 2 floors, what's not to love? Even better was the rent. I remember how Dad was really happy about how cheap the rent was, considering its size.
Tell him, oh my God, none of this is what the real estate agent told you.
The only issues with the house, Mom said, was that even though it's part of this suburban property, Whitefield Groves, it looked a little run down. That was when the real estate agent told Dad and Mom the story. She said the last long-term residents lived here nearly a decade ago, a family of 3. The man was some kind of businessman, and he used to travel a lot. His wife was a housewife, and they had a 4-year-old girl. The wife had some kind of ongoing mental disorder, depression, I think, some kind of psychosis. She would hear voices or see things. She was taking medication for it, and at one point she began to believe that her husband no longer loved her, and he was plotting to kill her. It could have been the long hours alone, or maybe she was slowly descending into madness. But at some point she broke, and in a moment of madness, she killed her daughter and herself. I asked the real estate agent in which room she'd done it, and she said she didn't know. But I think I have a pretty good idea of where it happened. The house stayed vacant for a long time. Bad mojo, I guess.
Mojo.
There were a couple of residents in between, but most stayed for a short time and then moved on. I guess they either saw something or felt uneasy. This house had been empty for almost 3 years before we moved in.
So, what happened to the last sitter?
I guess you mean Nadia.
Duh, idiot.
She saw the lady in the basement. That's how I think of that thing down there. In caps.
What?
Nadia heard her crying. She thought it was me, and she went down into the basement to investigate. When I found her, she was screaming and hysterical. I could barely understand what she was saying. She said that woman came at her. She called my mom, told her that she was leaving the house and that she didn't want to stay a moment longer. Mom was furious and asked her why, but Nadia would not say why. I mean, it sounds crazy.
I mean, why wouldn't you say why? Like, there's a fucking psycho-ass lady in the basement.
It sounds crazy when you talk about it out loud, so I don't blame her. Also, I think Nadia didn't even want to think about what she saw, let alone talk about it. She was so shaken. Nadia was up here with me, when Ma was talking to her on the phone. She just listened to Mom wordlessly, and then she left without a word.
Uh-oh.
When Mom came home, she was furious with me.
Let me guess, she thought you scared her away.
Yeah, she thought that I told Nadia about the lady in the basement and spooked her. That's why I didn't want to tell you anything about all of this. I just wanted you to stay away from that basement because I knew you wouldn't believe me and because I didn't want Mom to say that I scared you away.
Tell me about this lady in the basement.
I heard the sounds about a week after we moved in here. First, the basement door kept opening by itself. Always when I was alone in the lounge. I was too scared to go near it, so I kept ignoring it. I thought it was maybe a draft. Once it opened when Mom was with me, she just shrugged and said that the door was stiff. And so it sprang open. She said we would get it fixed. But then one day, I heard the weeping, and I could not help myself. I went to the door, and I went down there, And I saw her. I saw her. I've been living in terror ever since. I hear her some nights. Sometimes she just weeps. Other times she wanders the house. Nobody believes me. Mom and Dad think I'm making it up to get them to leave here and go back to our old life. I don't know what the lady in the basement wants. I don't even know what she is. But when I saw her, I sensed such rage and despair. I know she wanted to harm me. Even kill me if she could. I knew at once who she was. She was the lady from the story. The story that the real estate woman who got us this house told us.
Has your mom and dad seen anything?
No. They say they haven't. Maybe they have. Maybe they're just blocking it off or something, or explaining it away. I'm pretty sure they haven't heard that horrible crying.
You wonder how any of this is possible. Could any of this be real?
Do you believe me now?
Yes, I do.
Well, thank you. It's great. At least someone doesn't think I'm crazy. Been living with this for a while now. I'm losing weight. The counselors at school think it's because of the move and the changes in my life, but I know why it is. It's hard for me to concentrate in class. I keep thinking about her, of the madness that drove her to kill her own daughter and take her own life, and I get scared. What if I go mad like that? Maybe that's what she wants.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I no longer talk about it to Mom and Dad. At one point, they began talking about putting me on medications, and I don't want that. I don't want to be on one of those. I don't want to be one of those kids, a walking zombie hopped up on prescription drugs. So after that, I just let them have their story. Yeah, it was the change. Poor old Maya misses her old school and her friends. Look, just leave, okay? Leave this house and go. I'm stuck. I have no choice, but you do.
I should be like, peace. I won't leave you alone. I'll wait for your parents.
That's nice of you, but it's dangerous. I can't ask you to do that if something happens to you. Nadia, the previous sitter, I think she saw something terrible down there. Sometimes I think maybe the lady in the basement is looking for her child. Maybe mothers who hurt their children are never able to forgive themselves, even after they die. You should go. Mom will probably blame me again, but I'll handle it.
No, I told you I'm not dude, I'm not fucking up my job. My fucking awesome fucking reputation.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you, and brave. I wish I was that brave. Would you mind if I go to bed now? I'd like to try to sleep. I'm really exhausted.
Sure. Good night. Get some sleep. Well, you're back downstairs again. You're gonna sit tight. You know you're doing the right thing. No matter what it was. No matter what, it wasn't right to abandon her and flee. Not when her parents ask you to watch her. It's alright after all, and leaving her alone while her parents are away, especially after they entrusted her in your care, just didn't feel right. And if any of it's true, the insane story of the woman in the basement, why? You're going to have to deal with whatever comes. Time passes. It keeps on slipping into the future. Nothing so far. Crap, here we go. Footsteps from somewhere down below. From the basement. Basement door. That was the basement door again. You gotta see this through. You're not running away. Oh my God! You have to find out the truth, even though your heart is running so hard that you fear it might crash. Can any of what Maya said be true? Oh my God! My fucking body! It's wide open. The sounds are coming from down there. Shit! Smell comes wafting up, a vile stench of corruption, of something long gone to rot. The smell is overwhelming, overpowering. It hits you like a fist. What terrible thing walks down there? Oh my God! Oh my God! Go down the stairs. It's pitch dark. That smell, it's unbearable. It's difficult to think. Moldy boxes piled up at the center of the room. Who's there? You feel a sense of foreboding. A suffocating blackness overwhelms you. Darkness descends, clouding your mind. You cannot move. You can't breathe. Terror grips you. A despair unlike anything you've ever known fills you. You sink into it, grief rising in you like a black tide. You find yourself slumped on the sofa in the lounge. Your head aches and your hands are shaking. You spring to your feet. I can't remember his voice. What was his voice?
Are you up?
When did you get back?
About 10 minutes ago. And you just left me sleeping there? We found you downstairs in the basement of all places. You were lying on the floor, passed out. Maya told us to look for you there. When we got home, we found Maya upstairs, quite shaken. She was near hysterical. She told us that she heard you scream and that you might be hurt in the basement. Took us a lot of effort to calm her down. She kept saying that it was her fault, that she should not have accepted when you insisted you stay. She said that you talked to her about what she calls the lady in the basement. She said that you told her you believed her. It's shameful that you would encourage her like this. Play along with the delusions of a child. Shreya will be here in a moment. She wants to talk to you before you go. Goodbye!
Hey, Mom will kill me if she sees me talking to you, but I had to see you before you left. Did you see her, the lady? Did you see her?
Yeah, I did.
I knew it. You see, I was telling the truth. Thank you for believing me. I'm so glad you're not hurt. I can't believe that you stayed on despite what you knew. I know that must have taken a lot of courage. It means a lot. Maybe I can be like that and have that kind of courage too.
You're courageous already.
Thank you. Well, I really have to go now before Mom sees me talking to you. She'll come down hard on you. That's just the way she is. Don't feel bad. Until she sees it too, she'll never believe. I'm sorry all this happened to you. You never asked for this.
Will you be okay?
Well, I know I'm not crazy now. And you went down there and faced her. I'm gonna try and face my fears and be brave too. Thank you for showing me that I can. Bye.
Great. Fucking windbag mom.
I must say that I'm sorely disappointed. We put you in charge of looking after her. And a man finds you lying passed out in the basement? He says you weren't drunk or on drugs, but I find that hard to believe. At least you stayed on. Unlike our last sitter who left the child alone and fled. I'm not sure I should be grateful for that, considering the situation. You encouraged my daughter's sick fantasy, and you've probably set back our progress with her by weeks in doing so.
She's not lying.
Really? So she dragged you into her hysteria, and you believe all of it? This is exactly what her counselor warned us not to do. Since you work with children, I thought you would know better.
I'm sure I saw something.
Goodbye. We'll be passing our feedback to your agency.
You snooty bitch. I hope the lady fucking gets you tonight. Well, that didn't go as you'd planned. You've been shown out rather unceremoniously. Miss Raj was clearly furious, and so was Dr. Raj. But what Maya said, what you saw in there, that sense of abject despair that washed over you in the dark. As you leave, you turn to look at the house. You think of what happened. And you wonder. One week later. That was quite scary. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope that scared the shit out of you, too. Because it scared the shit out of me. I love that. I'm actually going to go and check out this developer's backlog. I bet there's multiple endings to this. So I am going to put this, a link to this game in the description of this video. Hopefully you go play it, and hopefully you find some other endings. Maybe it's even scarier. Maybe there's more scary shit. I don't know. But on that note, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!